There you go.
Hang on, I'll get my hat. It's too late.
No, go on.
We're
Whack it
live,
on, mate.
man.
We're live, mate.
Go get your hat, man. We
We're
don't want you to have
live.
FOMO. So this is our first Friday live pod, and we've
Let's
got Perry.
go.
He dressing up for it. He thinks he's still in
Fucking
Dubai.
Hey, what's going on? Feeling it, mate.
James forgot his microphone.
He actually had FOMO because he wasn't wearing the hat. How's everybody doing?
Doing good,
mate.
doing
Good,
good. Excited for the live.
It's
You must be
interesting.
damaged
We haven't
goods,
done a
though,
live
Eric.
before. I'm
Hey, how you
damaged.
feeling?
You just flew in.
I literally arrived this morning. So I literally got home, dropped off the luggage, went straight to the building site, had a couple meetings, came straight here because my laptop decided to shit itself. And then so I had a backup laptop and had to get this set up, but it doesn't have all my widgets and shortcuts and everything. So here I am rushing to get on, and I'm in a bit of a pissy mood, to be honest with you. So this will be interesting to see how
Let's
this
let
goes.
rip. I'm fucked up too, mate. So let's have it. Mate, I just going to question it. There's a couple of things here I think you'd like to bitch it up. You're only 6 hours behind in Dubai. How bad can jet lag be? And also in that suite that you had, that apartment in the sky, you should be fully slept. So I don't know what this bitching is all about.
Listen, mate. Okay. I'm not traveling on my own like you. All right. We've got a gang. No, it was so what happened was we flew business on the way there. And we fly on points, right? So we accumulate a lot of points through business. But I couldn't find the business class flights on the way back. So we booked economy through Qatar. And the whole time, I was like, you had such a good experience on the way there. And I'm like, I'm not going to be paying for the flights. And I couldn't find them on points. So we're leaving the morning of, right? This was, I think it was Thursday morning. And our flight's at 1 o'clock, and we wake up early to start packing. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just check the points one more time. And I went to check the points because within 3 hours, if it's over 3 hours, you still get your points back and your taxes that you pay back. So I went to check it, and the flight came up for 4 of us but we had to fly into Melbourne, which we usually fly into Brisbane. But I'm like, you know what? All right, let's fly into Melbourne. When you get excited, when you get the points, I don't know if anyone's done this, but you're literally on there looking for points, and it's right. It is literally, yeah, right. It is literally dopamine hits. Like you're like, yeah, I found it, perfect for 4 of us, awesome. So I booked it, but the unfortunate thing with Melbourne was there was a 6-hour delay from when we could get our Jetstar flights from Melbourne back to the Gold Coast. So we were in the airport from like 1 in the morning till about 6 in the morning, and like nobody's around, nothing's open, tired, and we were trying to get a hotel that we could rent. Those hotels, James,
Isn't the flight 8 hours max?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
Bougie,
those
man.
hotels.
I fly around the world just to get fucking business class.
It's called the milk run, Mark.
Those hotels, James, that you rent out.
You're renting for an
The Arvo.
No. So we were looking for the hotel, the ones you can rent out by the hour, the ones that James uses quite frequently. And
I've got free pillow points.
He only needs them for 15 minutes, though, doesn't he?
Not
they're
even.
all booked.
That's with the wash down, Mark.
all the airport ones were booked. So there we were for 5 hours, tired. I was trying to sleep sitting. I was like, oh man, the flight was good, but that 5-6 hours, first world problems. But then, so straight back into it. So we had to get back today though, because it's not a big thing here for a lot of Australians, but we had to come back for Halloween. Today's October 31st. It's Halloween, and the girls got their Halloween outfits. They have it all set up. We're going to meet friends later and go trick-or-treating here on the Gold Coast. So that was one thing that we couldn't do, was miss Halloween. And we got here just in time. So, and just in time for this live podcast.
I can't believe you guys are still doing Halloween. We were going to come down. We thought, we don't, like, I heard about your schedule back. I'm like, I don't want to put too much pressure on them. They're probably going to be tired. But you're a trooper. You're going straight through.
We're going straight through, man, straight through. So the girls are at home now. I left. They were already having a nap. I said, better rest up, and then we'll see how I pull through. But honestly, guys, Dubai is on another level. So for those of you guys that don't know, we did a 2-day event in Dubai this past week, and it was incredible. I was there for a couple of weeks. Perry joined us. Adam joined us as well. James and Mark didn't come to this one. But honestly, guys, it was on another level. Dubai is taking over. Like it is taking over. The amount of business, the amount of money that is trickling through that place at the moment is out of control. I'm talking like Rolls-Royce Cullinans, like Toyota Corollas, every second, third car is a G-Wagon, every Lamborghinis, the beach clubs, the hotels, the level of service. I mean, you're competing with the world there, and I haven't been there in 10 years, and I've got good friends that live there now, and we got to hang out with them for a couple days, and they've got very successful business here in Australia. But he's doing a lot of work in the Middle East at the moment, and it's a different life. Like, we're there, and he's got a driver, right? He's got a brand new Cadillac Escalade, and that's the driver's car. And they've got a chef, and they've got a maid, and it is just a different way of life there. But it's, in my opinion, it is all built off labor arbitrage. The whole country, right? Which is interesting, but food literally is quite expensive.
Literally built.
Literally, like, it is the first time that I have seen in my life. Like, I'm talking, when we're talking a development, we're used to like Australian development, but I'm talking a development with 800 to 1,000 apartments, 24/7, with lights. It feels like you're at the MCG. That's how bright these lights are on these sites. Midnight, 2 a.m, trades, pouring concrete. Like, they just do not stop.
And then you got the tram line here in Australia. It's taken fucking 2.5 years from Broadbeach to Berlin. They still haven't got it fixed, and it's probably going to be defunct when they get there.
Yeah,
they 5 K's of tram in 2.5 years. We've got a problem.
Yeah, they definitely get shit done there.
That is a serious issue, though, James. Like, we joke about it. That
I'm not joking.
But it's like over in Dubai. Yes, you've got the cheap labor. Some will call it slave labor. You've got the issues with it. Okay, cool, fine. But the reality is, China and Dubai and these places can manufacture and build so much quicker than the West can, and that's creating an issue at the moment on the world stage, right? Because the US, like, everyone's probably heard about rare earths, and China controlling 90% of the world's rare earths, and the rare earths are in everything from speakers to cars to military equipment, right? And so basically, he who controls manufacturing controls the world at the moment, because no one can go to war if their ammunitions are going to run out in 12 days, right? And so China kind of de facto controls the world through their ability to manufacture. That's on a large scale, but on a local at home scale in Australia, basically what it translates to is really, really poor productivity. And Australia's got one of the worst productivity levels in the developed world at the moment. And that is causing huge issues. That has a whole bunch of ripple effects, right? Like, if you have high productivity, then you can technology and technology and cheap labor bring the cost of goods down, right? And you have what's the opposite word of inflation? I've gone blank. You have deflation, right? And that's not happening in Australia. It's even happening in the US, but it's not happening in Australia. And I'm sure we'll talk about it today, right? We just got a really bad inflation print, which basically means while all these countries around the world are dropping their interest rates, Australia can't, right? Because the bond market is pushing back and saying, no, you can't, right? And part of it, I think, is productivity, right? Productivity kind of
The-
feeds into it all.
and red tape. It's not just
Yeah, well,
productivity.
that's one of the
that's
things that
part of the
fuels
thing
productivity.
that correct. I mean, you know, Eric and I we spent last week at the DA should be out today for that site, but the amount of hands that are out along the way through, and we've even started and we go through construction. The amount of hands that we're going to be paying and all is trickle back to tax and red tape to get anything done is nuts. It just makes it so hard and so slow.
Yeah,
and I mean, you imagine. Sorry.
No, like when you look at you compare like Dubai and Australia.
which again comes back to what we've raised the topic many times, that something like 50%, 51% of Australians rely on the government for their paycheck. And it's like, you know, bureaucracies are slow. They are heavy in paperwork and they're heavy in regulation. And that's a problem. We're becoming a slow country that can't compete anymore. I want to talk about CapEx later as well, but because I've got some crazy stats on that. But it's just wild how uncompetitive we're becoming.
And Eric made the point of that, you know, in Australia, we just wouldn't allow it because, you know, the arbitrage is just, as you said, Mark, it's seen to be a slave labor. This won't ever happen.
Yeah. While I was there, you know, we were Ubering everywhere, right? They have an app called Careem and it's owned by Uber. And I talk to every single Uber driver, right? And I ask, you know, how they're doing, what they're doing, how long they've been there, where are they from. And it's amazing how they look at the ruler there, right? The sheiks. And they absolutely adore him there, right? His face is everywhere. Like inside hotels, plastered on flags,
magazines.
And these are guys, you know, that we're talking to from Bangladesh, a lot from Pakistan, that are working in Dubai. Their families in Pakistan, right? Their wife, their kids, and they're sending money there. And you know, I know we mentioned in the comments before in different posts that we've made, and it's slave labor. And I posted something the other day. And it was me, like literally on the phone like this going, hey guys, I'm here with, you know, I forgot his name, say Ravi. And Ravi, you know, has been in Dubai for 7 years. And he originally was a laborer on a construction site and he was working full time. And then after work, and they work 12 hours a day. And then after work, he was doing his driver's license course to become a driver. He then drove for doing deliveries for Amazon. And then he got into Ubering, and he's almost 5 years in and paying off his Uber car. That's his main goal. But he says he absolutely loves Dubai. He goes, you know, I have a place where a unit where I rent it with 3 other bachelors. I send money home every month to my family. And he's like, I wouldn't be able to do this if I was working in Pakistan. There isn't these types of opportunities. I'm like, so what do you think of Dubai as a country? He goes, I love it. I love it. You know, the sheik, they're incentivizing people coming here. They're incentivizing the smartest and the wealthiest people from around the world. And this was this wasn't a coincidence, right? This was ongoing in a lot of the discussions I was having with people. And it's hard to see because you're literally seeing these immigrants, you know, from Pakistan and India and Bangladesh being bussed in these white buses, right, with no AC. Literally, they have their windows rolled down and they have these tiny little fans near each seat. And it's 35 degrees there when we were there. So, and 3 weeks prior was 50 degrees, and they don't stop, right? It's 24/7. It's ongoing, whether it's 50 or 55 degrees or 30 or 35 degrees. And it's easy for us to sit there and go, it's slave labor. But what we got to realize is we've been blessed where we've been born, right? I think Adam's mentioned it in the past, whereas, you know, we've won the lottery, right? Being born where we've been born. And a lot of people don't have that. And a lot of these people are being flown into different cities like Dubai that are trying to provide a better life for their families from the countries that they're living in. And after a lot of the discussions that I've had, it was very, very clear to me that Of course that they'd rather be with their family and have work where they are, but they don't have that quality of work, and they don't have the luxury of making that amount of money in their actual home country. So what they're doing is going to Dubai, because that's what Dubai has been built off, right? It's been built off. They're creating the demand. Everybody needs to go to Dubai at some point or another. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, or you're interested in construction, or you're interested in just seeing how one city in 30 years, like if you go and you research what Dubai looked like 30 years ago to today, it is hard to believe, right? Right now, there's more hotel rooms in Dubai than there is in all of Las Vegas. Over 155,000 hotel rooms available in Dubai, and a lot of them are at full occupancy. That is the amount of people that are going there all the time. And what surprised me as well is no, it didn't surprise me. The luxury doesn't surprise me, but the collaborations, like you've got Bugatti, which is a luxury developer there, doing the Bugatti luxury residences. They're collaborating with Bugatti. You've got them collaborating with Jacob & Co., which is one of the most well-known luxury watch brands in the world. You've got them co-branding apartments with Tiffany & Co.
And Chelsea,
like just
the football club.
The Chelsea Football Club sold out. And it is just eye-opening when you are there and you start realizing how, like, as soon as I arrived back on the Gold Coast and we're driving from the airport, right, get picked up and driving from the airport back home, and you're just like, this is like one big country town, you know, like compared to the hustle and bustle of Dubai. But there's one thing that everyone has on their mind there, and it's making money. That's one. That is the root of Dubai.
just to pull on that as well, the thing that Adam said that really caught my attention is that I don't know which malls it is. It might be the Dubai mall, and he was like, "So how much is rent for one of these units to be able to sell?" And they go, "Well, what's rent?" He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "Well, we just pay them on the sales, right?" So it's really focused on that entrepreneurial spirit of have a go. If you do well, give us a bit of the cheese on it, which I thought was just, that's realistically, that'd be a great way if that worked other places. Obviously, there's so many things that don't allow that, but even we've got a friend, Rafe, who's living there right now. He's going to be there for the next 4 years, and all he's doing is just building wealth. That's his goal.
So, I mean, our mate, our incarcerated mate, did a post and said that he wouldn't go and live there, and it wasn't because of the Dubai itself. It's just he's in a different stage of life. So, Eric, what's your take on Dubai? Where you're at right now. You've got a wife, you've got 2 kids, you've got great businesses here. You technically wouldn't have to leave there to create. You've got more than you could ever spend with the current stuff you've got going on. So it's got a heart monitor on. Is it? Yeah, what's your take on Dubai? You'd move there or not? Or
Hold on, I just want to confirm one thing. Did you say you had a heart monitor on?
Yeah, I got this thing for my blood pressure. I got a little scare the other week, so I've got some. I'm plugged in. I'm like Bionic Man.
Beep.
But that thing is, they haven't got a fucking heart, so they're wasting their time.
No, good on you. The joys of getting old. Dubai, what Adam said in his post is probably not far off the reality of the truth, to be honest with you. Dubai is a fast-paced place. Dubai, we got to remember, you cannot, for 5 months of the year, right? For 5 months, are you sure that's your heart monitor, man?
So I can't take it off, so you have to deal with it.
I could feel the vibrations.
You can't. For 5 months of the year, it's 50 to 55 degrees outside. So you're literally in aircon, in the car, running to the car. You have to have the aircon on in the car prior. People are saying like it's 55 degrees. If your car's parked outside, it's like 75, 80 degrees inside your car. So it is not a place for all year round that you can be living there comfortably. My friends that live there travel a fair bit of that time because it's European summer and the kids are off of school for, I think it's either 2 or 2.5 months there during that time. So if you're flexible and you can be mobile, I think it's a good opportunity for some people. Secondly, is it's different, right? Like you're in a Muslim country, right? So every so often you're hearing the prayers. There's the speakers, right? And it is literally a melting pot of everybody around the world. So when you come from Australia, specifically the Gold Coast, right, where it's not really a melting pot here, and you go there, there's a bit of a shock, culture shock, to be honest with you. But after a week or so, you get used to it. But I think if, like Adam was saying in his post, depending what phase you're in, right? Like if you're in your 20s, 30s, even 40s, and you're in hustle mode and you're in growth mode, and you want to go there and earn your millions of dollars and not have to pay tax, it is a great place to be because of the proximity. Your 6-hour flight and you're in anywhere in Europe, right? You're one flight away from basically anywhere in the world. You could get to Canada one flight. You could get to Australia one flight. So there's not many other places in the world that you can be where you're just one flight away from everywhere. And it's very convenient. Now, there's a lot of traffic, mind you, but they're saying that by 2040, they want to have these micro cities where there's not even people living with cars, which is quite interesting. And they'll probably do it because, excuse my language, but what I've been saying to people is that Dubai wins the big dick contest for everything. Like there is there is nothing else. Who did that?
Where's the eggplant emoji?
Right? But honestly, everything there is just done bigger and better than anywhere else in the world. Like the Burj Khalifa is over 165 stories, something like 168 stories. It is, just to look at is ridiculous. But I want to go back to convenience. You can order, everything comes to you there. You don't go to it. So they've got these apps. They've got Kareem. They've got Noon Minutes or something like that. Talabat. All these apps, and literally all you see is guys on scooters delivering everything. So if you get a bit sick and you want some Panadol, you don't go to the chemist to get the Panadol. The Panadol comes to you. We went to dinner at my friend's house, and we went to the beach club during the day, and he's like, all right, we're going to do a barbecue at our place. Gets his missus, okay, order prawns, order the chicken, order the steak, orders it all, delivered to the house. We're eating there. Next thing you know, halfway through dinner, he's like, I got a sweet tooth. I want ice cream cake. Let's order some ice cream cake. 15 minutes later, there's this massive, beautiful ice cream cake delivered to the door. So this level of convenience is something that you can get used to very, very quickly. So everything is just, you have the money, you just pay for it. You pay a little bit extra, but you're paying for that convenience. And again, labor arbitrage. If you want to somewhere where you want help, right? Like raising kids is a lot of work, especially a double income family, right? Like I've always been the one working and Jen's been at home, and we've been blessed to be in that situation. And that's still a lot of work. And we're only raising 2 kids. So if you're raising multiple kids and you don't have a lot of help, right? It's hard. Like there, again, it's labor arbitrage. You want a full-time nanny, right? You're talking $400 to $500 a week, Aussie, full-time, live-in, right? And all the houses there have these like live-in quarters. A driver, same thing. Chef, same thing. Like you've got to be extremely wealthy here to have full-time help that you're going to go and spend 120 on that one, 120 on this one, say 300-400 grand of after tax income, right? So if it's 400, call it 650 just for the help. then you got to start with everything else. So Dubai is a great place if you really want to, I guess, pedal to the metal, make money, create opportunity. There's an abundance of opportunity there. Like I could have set up 5 businesses there tomorrow. Like literally you could set up and go, and there's demand there. And there's a lot of wealth, extreme uber wealth that haven't seen anywhere in such a small proximity.
My view was always like, if I were to move there, I would learn Arabic and just start networking. You know, you get up the totem pole pretty quickly if you went down that route, you know. And like you said, the amount of opulence there, like the level of just luxury, it's too much in my opinion for me personally. But I could see how some people could go there and it could change their life within a few years, honestly. So
what was your
100%?
What was something that surprised you, Perry? That
it was for me specifically, it was just it just went to show my knowledge of Middle East and how much I really don't know. And because you're coming from England and you see the news and there's just so much negativity towards different creeds and different people, and then you go there and you're in a country and city where it's very tolerant, very friendly people, literally speaking to people like yourself in taxis and stuff, and they're just like, I've been here 10 years, I've been here 15 years, I'm not leaving, but I'm putting money into my own country and building a house there. I've got family there, and I've got I'm hiring 2 or 3 people, so it was very interesting to see the level of quality of life that it's creating for people.
Yeah.
And so, could I live there? Again, I don't know if it's somewhere for me. I love Asia. I love Asian food. I love like the kind of rough and tumble that comes with this. But I did speak to my wife about it, and I said, look, if the opportunity presented, would we go? She said, look, I'm open, but it's just not right now. So
yeah,
potentially.
The one thing that surprised me, being there, hearing about it is one thing, but experiencing it is another, was the safety.
Yeah. Like
we were staying at a hotel, and attached to the hotel was the world's biggest water park, 50 water slides, like just on another level. And if it wasn't Australia, I probably wouldn't have let my kids go there alone.
Mm-hmm.
And we let our kids go and enjoy themselves. They'd come back and then they'd go. Which was quite interesting. Another thing was leaving our phones and Jen's purse just there at the restaurant while you're going to the buffet breakfast. It was funny. We're at the buffet and the lady's like, oh, don't worry about taking your purse. Just leave it there and nobody will touch it. And that's very difficult because I'm the type of guy that's like, I would leave nothing anywhere, not just in Australia, but even Canada, US, wherever I travel, like you're never leaving stuff around. And I guess that's because how strict they are with the rules there. Another thing that was quite interesting is the welfare system there. So my friend was telling me, if you don't work and you're, kind of bludging and you're overstaying your visas, they literally find you, put you on a plane, send you back to your home country, and you can never come back again. So a lot of people follow and obey the rules there because they don't want to leave and they want to do the right thing so they can actually be let back in, which they rule with an iron fist, right? Whereas I think in the Western world, there's a lot of slaps on the wrists here. Yeah, so I found that quite interesting.
Which pulls into the big elephant in the room. Where's Adam?
Speaking of slap on the wrist.
I'll let you. I'll let you explain that one, Perry.
So I'm not understanding. Are we going to go into that? Because I couldn't understand where he'd overstayed.
You're just outside the country for too long.
Oh, okay.
You got to come back in. Yeah. So our fearless leader is not leading anyone at the moment. He's stuck in customs.
He's got his hands up against the wall, and spread as far as he's allowed to be, basically.
So
Yeah,
he's been off having too much fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there, but he couldn't make it today. Obviously, we've got Perry on. For those of you guys that don't know who Perry is, he's the other owner of Unemployable, lives in Thailand, does a lot of work with us, usually in behind the scenes, but trying to get him in front of camera a little bit more. He's actually quite famous. He's an actor. When he was in North Korea, I actually seen some of his serious TV commercials, like big companies, big banks, Expedia, very, very professional, which was quite interesting. So Perry's on with us today. And so Adam was supposed to be on, but he's having some issues in Cyprus at the moment. And we haven't had a reply back in a little while. So hopefully he's all right. And I think he's either probably going to end up back maybe in Dubai or Athens for a little bit. We'll see.
Wow.
Anyway.
Listen.
So Mark,
Well,
tell me, I think that's enough about Dubai. I'm sure we'll probably touch base on Dubai a little bit again with Adam, but it was a great success. It was a great event. Everybody loved it. The amount of messages that I've been getting since that event has been extraordinary. It's amazing when people get in a room, and not just a room, network at the beach club, having dinners at these fancy restaurants and stuff like that. A lot of people won't experience these types of things, and it was great to see how much enjoyment they had, and that they're like, when's the next one? When's the next one? So we're going to be organizing another one for next year in a different location. And hopefully you, James, and Mark will be able to join us as well. So Mark,
I'm coming. I'm going to free myself. Like I was watching at home, and I was just saying to Dom, I'm like, why did we not do this? Like we, why did we not go? I was getting huge FOMO just watching you guys like do Dubai, and but it wasn't just you guys doing Dubai. It was the fact that there was 60 people that had come from all over the world to be there. And it's like, that's why I started this podcast in the first place, to meet community, to be part of community. I'm like, just missed a big opportunity. And even though I'm not interested in Dubai, right? It was just the opportunity to be around like-minded people. And I think that's the thing that we keep talking about every week when we talk about other places. It's the opportunity to be around like-minded people to further your goals, right?
It's the quality of people as well. Before we move on, Mark, I just want to read out a few messages, right, that I've been getting. I've been screenshotting some of them, right? So during one of the fastest growing gatherings in Dubai, even while unwell, I experienced a defining moment listening to Elle, which was another guy that was there who sells to Bunnings. I realized that within this network, every question finds a path. Someone always knows someone who can help make things happen. After years of struggling to get past the gatekeepers, I finally understood I was asking the wrong people. The answers and the connections I needed were already inside this remarkable community. Huge credit to you guys and the Unemployable team for creating a network that truly empowers people to break barriers and grow together. Right. Great to meet you, Eric. Thank you so much for an amazing trip. The connections we made are unforgettable. Your girls are gorgeous. Hopefully see you all again sometime soon. I really ingrained Genevieve, Vian and Genevieve in the whole process. They were hostesses. They were leading people through. They were putting the lanyards on everyone. Oh, it was incredible. They came to the events. They came to the bus ride as well. Hey, Eric, that was easily the best. Yeah, go ahead.
That was the part, right? It was watching you and the family kind of engage in the whole trip that I'm like, why did we not? Why are we not there?
And this is what I want in future as well, right? I want people to think like that. Like I did. We got the professional videographers there for the 2 days, and they've already sent the first draft of the first video, which is actually quite good. And all I told them was, I said, listen, I want everybody to watch the video that you're going to put together and go, I have to be at the next one. Right. So for you saying that, Mark, just seeing it through the Instagram and stuff like that, it means that obviously we're hitting the mark, creating the FOMO, going, shit, I need to be there. Cause this is what life is about. It's about the experiences. A friend of mine in Dubai told me, he goes, you know what? It's not about the journey, or it's not about the destination. Right? It's the man or the woman that you become throughout the process. right? And it's these events, it's these milestones, right, that happen that make that change. Like, I will remember this for the rest of my life. The girls will remember that for the rest of their lives, and the connections that you make.
I think a lot of people, and I first to put my hand up and fall victim to it at times. You know, we moved from Melbourne to Byron Bay, a little bit further away from all the connections and all the people that we had. I'm able to trade and invest on my big 4 screens. I have created this life where I don't need to go very far. But what happens is you can sometimes build an island all into yourself. And I said that to Dom. I you know, you're going through your own challenges and your own struggles, and maybe it wasn't the right time to jump on a plane or whatever. But some of that is self-inflicted, right? Like you start to build this, and you know, post COVID, the way that the world changed, you start to build an island in and of yourself, right? And I think when you're focused on the ends, when you're focused on the goals and the dollar values and the business type and the material things, then that is what can happen. But what I'll add something further to you saying that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Well, what's the point in having a journey all by yourself, right? What kind of a journey is one that you have on an island all by yourself, right? That can be fun for a little while, but not for very long, right? And that was one of the realizations for me, just sitting at home, is that maybe I haven't lent in as much as I could have to community, because really that's what you seek. That's what I'm seeking, right? And sometimes that just gets lost on you because you get busy or you get ingrained in the things that you're doing. But, you know, really leaning in and you know, from another perspective, Dom, you know, something as simple as going to a journal writing session on the beach at 7 a.m., meeting a bunch of other girls who are kind of, you know, not going to a mother's group where we're meeting on the basis of being mums. We're just meeting on the basis of being humans with the same needs and trying to find connection and whatever. And it's like, it's really great to see her leaning into other things as well. And just, I don't know. I think that's the reminder, and I think that's the real diamond in the rough of these events. Sure, there's opportunity, but the journey becomes so much richer when you meet, you know, 2 or 3 people from a room of 60 that can completely change your life.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And I'll say, we'll move on to the next topic, but I'll just say one more, right? Hey, Eric, easily the best business event and trip I've ever been on. The connections, networking, and conversations have been truly mind-blowing and life-changing. Thank you. Like that's like, when you read that, that's impact, right? And there was multiple of these messages, and I know everyone felt the same way. So we'll definitely be doing another one, guys. And we'll let everybody know when that is actually happening. Now,
well done.
Mark,
tell me.
While I was in Dubai, I love these chats. Mark, myself, James, Adam, I think, is there anyone else in that chat, or is it just us?
Oh, there's Ash and another dude.
Oh yeah, Chris. Ash and another son. Yeah, and Chris. We're in this chat, and it's basically talks about, you know, economics and what's happening in the trading world and real estate and Bitcoin, and and Mark was mentioning a couple things, and I mentioned a couple things, and it's quite interesting once the banter starts going on. And there's a few things that happen. Everyone's anticipating interest rates coming down again in November, and then we get smacked in this face in Australia with this high inflation number again. So I'd love for you to unpack for the audience, Mark. This is your wheelhouse. What does that mean? Why has inflation crept up again, in your opinion? And what does this mean for the market? What does this mean for real estate? What does this mean for the stock market, trading, people like yourself?
And just one other bit to add to that, because usually we sort of correlate with the US, and US has just dropped rates, and we're probably going the opposite way. And when you talk about global markets, how does that fit in the macro perspective for us down here in Australia as well?
Yeah. So you know, it kind of feeds into what we were talking about before, with inflation, deflation, and things like that. The problem, if I haven't dug into why the inflation was up, like I'm not sure where. I think I have a suspicion that it was energy. So what happened is that the Australian government has been subsidizing energy costs, right? And so when they were subsidizing these energy costs, that was bringing the cost of energy down, and these subsidies were removed, and so there was a spike in energy costs. And energy is one of the largest components of the inflation basket, and so I think that's what caused the inflation. I haven't dug into it deeply, but I think that was part of what caused the higher than expected inflation. And the problem with inflation is that when there are higher inflation prints, then the people who lend money to the government by buying bonds, and in most Western countries, you've got 1-year bonds, 2-year bonds, 3-year bonds, 10-year bonds, 30-year bonds, etc. And basically that means that a private individual or company is lending government to lending money to the Treasury, being the Australian Treasury, for a period of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, and they're getting a coupon back for lending that money. Now,
So
they can sell
just to explain to everyone, right? You talk about bonds like no problem, but I know there's a lot of people that will be listening that don't know what a bond actually is. So what you just explained there basically is it's government backed, right? Which basically
we're
the
talking
government wants.
specifically about Australian Treasury bonds, which is
Yes.
underwritten by the Australian Treasury, and they
Yep.
use that money to finance the government.
Yeah. So basically what they're saying is, all right, we need to raise some money. All right. And we got guys like Mark and James and Perry that goes, all right, I got some money. I will let you, Mr. Government, borrow, right, my $100,000. You give me a coupon code for 5%, and that's locked in for 2 years as an example. And then they can go and use that money for whatever the hell they want, but it's government backed. And after those 2 years, they pay you back the principal. And during that time, you've been earning the interest.
Yes, and so that's why they're called risk-free. The risk-free rate is because you're lending it to the government. So unless the government is going to default, which has happened in third world countries, unlikely to happen in first world countries, right? Because they can just print more money, and unless you have hyperinflation, easy to continue to issue more debt. It's mainly institutional buyers. So what a lot of people, it's institutions, but what a lot of people don't realize is, I would say 80 to 90% of the people out there don't realize that they own bonds in their superannuation, right? So in your super, you probably got 40% of your superannuation invested in these government treasury bonds, right? And so it's mainly institutions, and the issue with them is that if inflation is higher, back a step. So when you said it right, when you lend that money to the government, you get that coupon. So call it 3%, 4%, 5%, whatever it is, and you get the money back at the end of the period. But there is an ability to buy and sell bonds like before that period. So you could sell the bond before that period is up, and the interest rate on newly issued bonds moves. So the issue rate on your bond that you bought is the same from start to finish, but the issue rate on newly issued bond moves. And that interest rate is determined by the market, right? It's determined by what the market, supply and demand, and what the market is willing to accept as a suitable coupon for lending money to the government. Now, the issue so this is other than taxes, right, that we pay, this is the main source of the government's ability to fund themselves, okay? And so when we have higher inflation than the standard 2 to 3% range, when we have higher inflation, then the market demands a higher interest rate, a higher coupon, right, in order to lend money to the government, right? So the cost of borrowing becomes more expensive. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that when the Federal Reserve or the RBA drops interest rates or raises interest rates, they don't have full control over when they can drop and when they can raise. They're partially dictated to by the market who is lending them money, right? So a couple of days ago, when the interest rates, when the inflation came in higher than expected, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 10-year interest rates all went up by like 1%, right? And that's a 1% move in a stock. Fine, 1% stocks move 1% every day, but a 1% move in the price of interest rates is a huge move. And so when the market demands a higher interest rate, they basically tie the government's hands and ability to drop rates, right? So a lot of Australians were expecting that interest rates would come down further than what they've come down, but now that is kind of off the table, right? If inflation continues to rise and go higher and is beyond the 2 to 3% range, then it's going to constrain the Reserve Bank's ability to drop interest rates, which is going to mean that a lot of people who have bought property expecting interest rates to come down are going to find it more difficult to make repayments. It also means a lot of people who have just, potentially bought a home on a new government 5% deposit scheme are going to have higher interest rates. Okay. And so that's the mechanism. And that's why, like a couple of years, maybe a year ago or six to 9 months ago, you guys were saying we're going to get lower interest rates. And I was saying we will, in the short term, we'll get lower interest rates. But my base case is that interest rates are going to go higher over time. And the reason that they're going to go higher over time is because we're going to continue to get higher inflation prints. Okay. And because the stock market and Bitcoin and gold and all these things are repricing, right? That affects the real value of these government bonds. If gold is going up 60% in a year, which it has this year, to come off a little bit, well, why would you lend your money to the government at a 5% coupon return when you can buy gold and get a 60% return, right? So it's all a big loot, right? This is partially the reason why gold and other assets are going up so much, because people want to maintain their wealth. They don't want to lose their real purchasing power. And if you're buying bonds at the moment, you're losing purchasing power. You can go a step back again, right? And you can say that you can look at property prices and you can say since 1981 to now, interest rates have gone from like 17% down to 0. And that has been the big tailwind that has made property investment such a worthy investment over the last 40 years. But if we're at the end of that cycle, right, where interest rates might go now from 0 back up to say 10%, which is what I believe can happen over the next 10 or so years, then you have to ask yourself, is property the best investment that you could make? Now, you could, and we argued this, and I think I even agreed with you, Eric, that property prices I don't think they're going down. I don't think they're going to crash. They're likely, in nominal terms, going to continue to go up by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8% a year. But if gold is going up 50 and Bitcoin is going up 30, and wherever that levels out, 15, 20, 25% a year, each of those, well, do you want to own property? Do you want to own bonds, or do you want to own gold and Bitcoin and stocks? And that's why I think, because this is the regime that we're going through, end of a debt cycle, more and more people are starting to switch to that trade. You've even got the big banks now that are calling it the debasement trade. Only crypto people have been calling it the debasement trade for the last 3-4 years. Now you've got Main Street saying this is the debasement trade, right? Money being printed, being put into the system at 8% a year, plus inflation, that's 11% a year. That's your hurdle rate, right? And so the question is, yeah.
How's this then sort of, if you go back, things going on, go back one step and go, okay, that's all good about property prices, but you've got a housing shortage, massive shortage here. How's that? You've got the financial sector over there, the housing sector over here, which is under massive demand. How does that wash out, in your opinion?
And that's the argument that I think Eric and I were having in the debate.
It was. That's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah.
Right. I think areas like coastal towns, Gold Coast, and all these areas are going to be fine. Really, the areas that are going to be hit most are going to be areas where there's an abundance of boomers who own properties, and those boomers are going to be looking to exit those properties as they age, right? Which is what's happening. And the question is going to be, who is going to buy those properties from the boomers? Who can afford them? Who's going to buy these properties if we're not having as many kids as we were, if family formation isn't as big as it was? Who is going to step in and offer the bid for these boomer mansions? And the reality is there's not going to be anyone there.
And this is where I was coming back with the immigration, right? We're not, right? As in, you know, the Aussie battler. That's what you want to call him. I know it sounds bad coming from a guy with a Canadian accent. But same thing's happening in Canada, right? But then you have immigration, and the people that are immigrating into Australia and into Canada, all different types of cultures, and they're having babies, and they're having a lot of babies, right? And this is where what I've seen in Canada for the last 10 years, the country has changed a lot based on immigration. And I've seen it. And you only see it. It's like watching your kid grow. You don't see it. Like, you're like, how are you growing? Because I don't see it. It just happens. But if you don't see someone for a period of time and then you see them, like, you see the difference. And in Canada, when I go back once a year, once every 18 months, I see a big difference. Then I go back the next 12 months, I see another massive difference. And I think this is what a lot of people aren't realizing is how much immigration impacts a country, right? Now,
also,
like Dubai,
how essential, right? And
yes.
I know I'm going to cop flack in the comments potentially, but it's also how essential immigration is to the survival of a country.
I totally agree with you.
Now, you might give me the argument, well, Japan has had low immigration and they've been fine. And there's an argument to be made that could be that could be a path, because Japan basically got to a point where everything was just so expensive. They don't have immigration. So when they had that big crash, everything, they've been in a 20 or 30 year deflation since the 90s, where everything has been getting more and more cheap and affordable. Now you could say, well, we should do that, because then Aussies, battlers, will be able to afford the properties. But if you look a little closer at Japan, all that shines is not always gold. They've got one of the worst aging populations in the Western world. Huge. No one is having kids because there's no vibrancy in the economy, because there's no inflation. We need a level of inflation. Otherwise, who wants to start a business if you can't raise your prices, right?
Correct.
And so no one is there's that you could argue that it's coming back now after 30 years of being in deflation, but it's been in a depression. That country has been in a depression, and the government has had, or the Reserve Bank of Japan has had to buy all those government bonds, has had to lend all that money to the Japanese government in order for the government to survive. But it doesn't create a vibrant place to live, right? Tokyo is great, but what about the rest of Japan that has just slowly been?
It's becoming a ghost town. There's loads of people buying up these Japanese residences that are in these villages for dime on the dollar. It's absolutely, you're paying 20 grand for this beautiful old Japanese home, but it's just because there's no one there, Yeah,
so exactly.
It's crazy. Just on that as well, Mark, there was a question from Jason Mulhall, who was one of the people that came to Dubai. Good to see you, Jace. He said, what does Mark think of using Bitcoin treasuries to borrow against now we have one in Australia?
What do you mean Bitcoin treasuries to borrow against? Like,
That's what. So what does Mark think of using Bitcoin treasuries to borrow against now that we have them in Australia?
look, I I lost because I sold my Metaplanet, but I bought a lot of Metaplanet and lost money on it because I bought it at an MNAV that was way higher than the Bitcoin that they owned, and that was just stupidity on my behalf. It was a terrible trade, bad timing, FOMO, every mistake you can make, I made on that trade. The issue with Bitcoin treasury companies is that they can't survive at an MNAV below 1. So if the Bitcoin treasury company's value is below the value of their Bitcoin, then how can they raise more capital to buy Bitcoin? It no longer becomes accretive. And so we're going to find out very soon whether Bitcoin treasury companies in every region works, right? It's looking more and more likely that there may only be 1 or 2 Bitcoin treasury companies that survive. You've seen now Bitcoin treasury companies in the last week actually start to sell Bitcoin. And that's because you can't survive if your MNAV is below 1, because there's no way to raise capital to buy Bitcoin. If your MNAV is, you can't sell stock at below the value of your Bitcoin to buy Bitcoin. And so I think we all kind of got caught up in the hype that is Bitcoin treasury companies. And I think we just need to be a little bit careful at the moment. They'll have, everything works in ebbs and flows and has its cycles. So if Bitcoin pumps to 170 over the next 3 months, then you might see Bitcoin treasury companies catch a bid again. But I wouldn't be taking out leverage on Bitcoin treasury companies.
It's interesting because like leverage, like on property is one of these things that is the norm, right? And now there's so many other different types of products that are now coming out. And you look at even gold as an example. And when you don't hear about gold for a long time. And then all of a sudden you start hearing a little bit about gold. And then you hear a little bit more about gold. And then news.com comes out with the article that shows 100 people across the side of the building lining up to buy their bits of gold. That's when you need to start. That's when you need to start worrying, going, holy shit, every, man and their dog are now lining up to buy gold. That's probably, in my opinion, when you shouldn't be buying. This is me, right? That you probably shouldn't be buying gold, right? When your grandma's lining up to buy gold.
And
the contrarian trader. Have you, Eric? Look at you, eh?
No, I've got some really good mates that are quite successful in a lot of different things, and they're like, just do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, But that is the hardest thing to do, right? Like buying Bitcoin when it's dropped, buying gold when it's dropped, buying real estate when it's dropped, like, and it's the whole that saying that, and we mention it over and over again. Be greedy when people are fearful, and be fearful when people are greedy. Like if you just sit on that, you look at Mark and Metaplanet, right? He wasn't being fearful when people were greedy, right? On Metaplanet, he jumped in, like he said, FOMO, man, this thing's gonna go through the roof. And when you said you sold, I pulled up the chart, and the chart is literally
down 60%.
Like it is literally. Right. And it was probably the day you bought it, it started doing this. Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's the thing, right? Like nobody has a crystal ball, right? Everyone can ask about Bitcoin treasury companies and gold and Bitcoin and all these altcoins. But at the end of the day, how much are you willing to invest? What you said earlier about bonds, you said 2 words: risk free. That's why you're getting a very, very low interest rate that doesn't interest a lot of people, or else you'd be going out and saying, hey, I'll take my 4 or 5%, and I'll go and put in my $500,000. Like $500,000 is 25 grand on your 500 grand. Like it's nothing.
That's
what I mean?
The exact point. that's the most important point, and it's position sizing, right? Like position sizing is the most important point. Like I bought back a position in Metaplanet at its lows, and it's just like a 1 or 2% position. It's like it's there, and if it goes down, it goes down. It can't hurt me, and if it goes up, great, it goes up. But the inclination is, and you know, I watch this stuff all day, every day. All I do is read, research, listen to earnings reports, and I'm still not infallible at making those wrong decisions, because that's what happens. The emotion gets the better of you, right? And when your emotions get the better of you, you make decisions that are not good decisions. Like, and my decision, the wrong decision, was position sizing. The position sizing was too big, and so the punishment was too big. And we like to think in all or nothing terms, you know, because a lot of people who bought Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $1,000 have now got millions and millions of dollars, and so there's this tendency to kind of see what's happening and to go all in on things, right? And you know, I think that sometimes can be a recipe for disaster, right? Like even the AI trading program that some of the guys were doing, a lot of people, I got messages of people telling me that they went in with all their savings. This was like their big swing, right? And even my loss from Metaplanet was big. It was big enough. It's kind of wiped out all the rest of my gains for the year. It wasn't enough to kind of ruin me, but it still hurt a lot. And I think that's the difficulty. Like people like, oh, we'll go all in on gold, we'll go all in on Bitcoin, or they'll see someone like Adam who's put a significant amount of money into Bitcoin. But you got to understand Adam's position and the amount of Bitcoin versus his total net wealth, etc. You don't know all those nuances, right? And so it is dangerous to go all in on one thing, because the market moves in cycles. Like if you invested in gold during Weimar Germany inflation back in the World War, you would have made a killing. But in fiat terms, the inflation was like crazy, right? Most humans are not built to be able to hold an asset through that kind of volatility. The volatility, sorry, not the inflation, was crazy. Yes. Most humans aren't built to be able to suffer through the volatility.
And also, not only that, you look at the Bitcoin treasury is like Tulip Mania, right? And it's a brand new instrument too. Brand new business model had never been proved. It's only been around for the sale has been 18 months, and Meta's been around 12 months. So you know, it's and it's versus real estate, which has been around for how many centuries now, which has probably got a little more historical pattern to it.
Yeah, and like 50% of my wealth is still in real estate, right? Like at the end of the day, like I think I don't know. I don't know where we're going with it, but it's like
I think what everyone needs to realize is we're all in different seasons. We're all in different innings in the game, and you can't compare what Adam's doing to what you're doing or what Mark's doing. Like Mark is literally, this is what he does, right? So he's got his obviously online business that's ticking along, but how much of your time right now, Mark, are you doing? Are you literally reading earnings reports and researching and listening to pods? 90%?
Like 80% of my time is research.
Right. So 80% of your time, right? And you're still making mistakes, right? This is the reality, but this is the season that you're in, right? So you're going to be a lot more confident in the decisions that you're going to be making. You look at Perry as an example. Perry's a young boy, right? He's a young man.
Eric, there's a guy named Chris Camillo, and he turned 20,000 into 2 million, and then turned that 2 million into like 100 million. And he's self confessed as he was like the worst trader that ever lived. And so over a period of 17 years and getting smacked in the face and working out the system and the way it works, working out your emotion and learning how to do the counter of those emotions, he was able to to move from the worst trader, in his words, to someone who became successful. And like you have to know yourself. You have to understand your situation and understand your tendencies and make sure that you're investing for those as well.
Yeah, and like again, back to the seasons. You look at Perry as an example. How old are you, Perry?
34.
Right, 34. Right, like in my opinion, Perry's young. Right, like he's young. He's got no kids. Right, he lives in a tax-effective country. He lives in a very cheap country. So for Perry, he's in massive growth phase at the moment. Right, so anything that he's doing, right, from a monetization level. Right. This is his for the next 10 years. Like this is him building, right, his nest egg. You look at someone like James as an example. He's been around for a long time. He's had his ups and downs. He's invested, right? He's invested, and he's talked about it publicly with, Adam when they did what was the online the Uspired, right? Like I had FOMO when these guys mentioned Uspired to me to the point where I'm like, fucking, I wish I got in. Because I love the idea. I'm like, this is going to be the next thing. So did they, right? And there was a point in time where I was like, shit, I want in. And then a year later, you're like, thank fuck I didn't go in. Like these are the, right? But this is
that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking, fuck, I went in.
Right. But this is the reality of taking and placing your bets. Like for me, I will place my bets higher in things that I feel I have more control over, right? That I can manufacture, right? Rather than go, you know what? I'm not the one spending 80% of my time reading earnings reports, right? And looking at 4 charts on a big screen every day, right? So obviously Mark's going to have a lot more conviction than that. So you got to decide where you are at and what are you willing to lose? Like if you were to bet on something and you go, man, this thing can 10 times, or I could lose it all. Could you sleep at night knowing that you're going to go and lose $1 million maybe, right? Or you can turn it into 10 million over time. Like you need to understand, right? Like I've always been the type of person, right? Nobody likes losing money, but I know the type of person that I am. I know when I go to the casino and I spend $200 and I lose it, I'm pissed, right? I'm upset, right? I'm very upset. Like I literally went to Dubai. We did a little bit of shopping, right? And there's 5% VAT, right? And you get it back at the airport. It's tax free, right? You get it back. So
yeah, but hang on. When
we
you
went.
spend
No, listen.
When you spend $9,000 on a pair of sneakers, I'd get it back too.
I went, okay, to the airport. Jen and I, the kids, we leave Dubai. We're in Qatar, and I'm like, holy shit! I forgot to lodge the tax. And I was pissed. I was pissed, right? It would have been like $500-600, but let me tell you, I was pissed, right? Because I'm like, how stupid. But that's the type of person that I am, right? Like I have once been referred to as tighter than a fish's asshole. Like,
can you tell that
okay
Eric's pissed?
Hang on, so right? this isn't because you've got the milk run at home and you fucking didn't sleep. It's because you fucking missed the VAT while you're busy today. That's the fucking. Now the truth comes out.
That's not the economy seats, mate.
Yeah, don't just focus on the $10,000 cons you got.
Right.
Full circle.
But then I have, but again, right? I have other mates that will go to the casino and lose 20 grand, and talk about it over a dinner like it's that's their hit to fame, right? Like it's. But I think what people need to think about, like I know what Mark has lost. He's mentioned it to us off camera, right? It's a fucking lot of money. It's more money than most people will ever see in their bank account, right? Now he's acting humbly about it because he's probably, needs to be because it's lessons. But I know that he's making a lot of money doing other things, and he knows that, and that's what will give, him peace of mind at the same time. But what he's going to take from that is he's going to learn from that and go, it was too big of a position. It was FOMO. It was the worst trade I could have made. Like I literally went to the gold bullion place in Miami here on the Gold Coast 4 years ago, right? I literally got the quote, had the paper. I was going to bet, it was about $100 grand, right? Just to offset a little bit of money, right? Because Jen was always on to me. Oh, we should buy some gold. This is kind of just after COVID, let's buy some gold. And I just didn't go back, right? I still have the paper at home somewhere. I actually want to find it so I can actually see the price of what it was.
I could tell you what it was. It would have been like $1,500,
right? But you look at what it is today, but again, it was 100 grand, right? Which is a very small amount of my net worth at the time. It's not everything or 50% or like, in my opinion, I like to spread risk. I've always spread risk even in my businesses. I've had multiple businesses in all different industries because when one's good, one's down, one's up, one's low, that's me. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy having partners, right? So we can go through the ups and downs together and share a bit of the stress and share a bit of the pain and share a bit of the success and the wealth. Like you said earlier, Mark, you want to be on the journey by yourself? You want to be in Dubai by yourself? You want to be on the boat by yourself? No, you want others to be with you. And that is what I like, right? So I think what you guys can get out of this is decide what that is for you. Are you that one hit wonder that's going to go, hey, my, name to fame is I invested X amount in Bitcoin and it 10 times. Like I was like in Dubai when I was there, I can pick the crypto people out. You can pick them out from a mile away.
The boat
You
shoes.
can pick out the people that had Bitcoin at $50. You could just see it because it's just the level of wealth and how young they are is on a different level. I don't care if it's rented or not rented. They're spending big money on things and clothes and jewelry and you can see it. It just oozes out of them, right? But in my opinion, if you want to be chasing, those rabbits, that's high risk, right? But what you said, Mark, earlier is they held through the volatility. Most people won't hold through the volatility. That's the thing, right? The day I bought Bitcoin, it went down for 3 years. And I'm like, shit, right? The day I bought a stock that my mate gave me a tip on and that I still hold today is down by 60%, right? But he's like, his conviction on it is so heavy and he's got so much invested that I'm like, I believe it's still going to go. But I have a small portion of my wealth in it. If it does go, I'll be very happy, right? If it goes for what he has, he'll be ecstatic. That's the difference, right? But I'm not willing to go, I'm willing to gamble more on property as an example because I know I can control it. I know, I can manufacture it and I can talk to multiple people and there's a tangible thing for it. But again, that's me, right? So really dig deep on yourself, guys, because what you don't want to do is put yourself in a position, Mark's going to make that back, right? And he knows he can make that back. Most people can't. And that's what you want to make sure that you don't do.
Yeah.
Speaking of rare earth, Mark, your mate, your orange-haired mate from the States has gone and upset that little monopoly that China had home.
What happened?
Trump has gone and cut a couple of deals with a few other countries now, so the monopoly with China is no longer for rare earths.
The rare earths, yeah, he did a deal with Albanese. I saw that, and he's doing deals with Malaysia.
Malaysia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the thing with China and the US, like we kind of need to get used to the fact that it is a decoupling, it is a divorce, and sometimes divorces can take many years and many months to kind of work out, and you got to work out who gets this and who gets that and how often you get to see the kids. And it's like that's what's happening with China and the US. It's a divorce, it's a decoupling, and that's going to play out over the next 5 to 10 years. And and this kind of feeds back with relation to gold. One of the things that China and Russia and India and everyone is forcing now is the exchange of commodities for gold. China has been a big buyer of gold, and they are now settling commodity purchases in gold. And so you're starting to see a lot more commodity purchases, settlements occurring, or trade imbalances being settled with gold. And so if you look at gold as a percentage of all the commodities in the world, it's still very, very low. And so for that to work, gold needs to be repriced so much higher than what it is. And so you might get pullbacks. Like I've said that I think there's a possibility we get a pullback to 3,500 in gold. But between now and 2030, gold's probably going to 10,000, right? Because the amount of dollar value that gold needs to rise so that the commodities can change hands and be in exchange for gold. Now, the US in the past have artificially tried to keep the price of gold down with derivatives markets and things like that, but they're no longer able to do that because they're in such great debt, right? And so, I think that time has probably finished. That administrations that are in favor of that approach has probably gone. And I think the Trump administration and Treasury, they kind of want to see gold repriced higher. They want to see Bitcoin repriced higher, and they realize that we're at the point in the cycle where the only way to kind of grow out of the debt is to have real interest rates negative, which basically means interest rates might be 3, 4, 5%. But if GDP and inflation is running at two percentage points more, then real interest rates are actually negative. And it's that same mechanism that is probably what's going to make property prices continue to rise, right? Everything is going to continue to rise. The question is going to be, what is going to rise more, right? And if we think about this, and we think about this being a structural issue that's going to play out over many years, potentially there's no need to go all in on Bitcoin or all in on gold, right? Like the goal should be to buy hard assets and to invest in companies that are going to own the future. And this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen in I think everybody gets this urgency bias where they think this is going to happen. Like inflation is going to go up 1,000% in a day. And it's not going to happen. You don't need to go all in on Bitcoin or all in on gold or all in on leverage, right? This is going to, this battle between China, this inflation, this back and forth, the AI boom, this is going to play out over 5, 10, 15 years. So what I need to remind myself, and what everyone else needs to remind yourself, is that there's plenty of time. There's going to be time. It's going to play out over time. So you can make multiple bets. You can do some property deals and development where you can add some upside, some safer bets. You can invest a little bit in gold. You can put a little bit in Bitcoin, right? People fall for narratives as well. Digital gold. It's not digital gold. It doesn't behave like gold. It hasn't been around for 2,000 years. It's not a store of value. The people that buy Bitcoin aren't trying to preserve their wealth. They're trying to go to the moon in a rocket. Right? That's the reality, Adam included. You buy Bitcoin, you're trying to go to the moon in a rocket. So that's not digital gold. It doesn't behave anything like gold. That's a call option, right? It's as volatile as a call option, a leverage call option on this future that we're talking about. This future is going to happen slowly, and it's going to happen with volatility. So pick your spots and, take your time. We're guilty of it, right? We get on and we say, you got to buy gold, you got to buy Bitcoin. And I think we help to create that. We do part of the damage in creating that FOMO, when the reality is you kind of have time. This is going to play out over time.
You remind me of what Adam said. I don't know if you mentioned to us off camera or what it was when he was at one of the conferences, and he was on just after a gold guide. He was talking about, one of the reasons why I can buy Bitcoin is because I can put it in a USB and I can stick it up wherever I want. You try and do that with a gold bullion and see which one, and see which one works, and
Which one weighs you down?
On that note, guys, I think on that note, guys, talking about time and jamming things up places where they shouldn't be. I've got to bounce. So I've got a meeting to get to. So it's been fun,
well, guys.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks so much, guys. That was the first live unemployable. Let us know how you think, and if we should turn them all into this, because it's a bit of fun. Hey, so
do we have how many people do we have at any one time? Does it say?
We've got 4, that's for sure.
It's been on average 100 people have been watching throughout. So thank you everyone who was here watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, they seen Perry's shirt and then left.
Yeah, we would have had 1,000. We should have. Oh, it was a bit unfair to ask Adam to promote it. We should have got him to promote it on his Instagram.
All good, guys.
Street.
All right.
Now, see you later, guys.
Let's keep crushing.
Take it easy.